Imagine sleeping on the floor of your office, showering at the local YMCA, and having just enough money to choose between paying your rent or buying food. This was Elon Musk in 2008, not the billionaire we know today, not the man who owns Tesla, SpaceX, and X, but a broke entrepreneur watching his dreams collapse one day at a time. This is the story of the darkest moment in Elon Musk's life. The day he almost lost everything, and how he survived to become one of the richest men on Earth. Let's go back to understand how someone could fall so far. Elon Musk wasn't always broke. In fact, by 2002, he was already a multi-millionaire. He sold his first company, Zip2, for a cool $22 million. Then, he sold PayPal to eBay for $1.5 billion. Elon's personal share, $180 million. At just 31 years old, Elon Musk was rich beyond most people's wildest dreams. Most people would retire at that point, buy a mansion, live on a beach. But Elon Musk wasn't most people. He had two crazy, almost impossible dreams. Number 1, make electric cars mainstream with his company, Tesla. Number 2, send humans to Mars with his other company, SpaceX. Everyone told him he was insane. Electric cars will never work, they said. Private space companies always fail, they laughed. But Elon didn't listen. He took almost all of his $180 million and invested it into these two companies. He went all in on his dreams, and then disaster struck. The year was 2008. The global financial crisis hit the world like a tsunami. Banks collapsed. Companies went bankrupt. Investors pulled their money out of everything, and Elon Musk, he was caught in the middle of a perfect storm. SpaceX had just launched 3 rockets, and all 3 had failed, exploded. Millions upon millions of dollars gone in a bowl of flames. They had only enough money left for one more launch. If the 4th rocket failed, SpaceX was finished, done. Meanwhile, his other company, Tesla, was burning through cash at an alarming rate. They couldn't manufacture their cars fast enough. Quality problems were everywhere. The company was just weeks away from bankruptcy. Elon was faced with a terrible, gut-wrenching choice. Save SpaceX or save Tesla. He simply didn't have the money to save both. But here's the part of the story that most people don't know. While his professional life was a nightmare, his personal life was also falling apart. Elon was going through a painful divorce. He had invested everything into his companies, his reputation, his money, his time, his mental health. And now it was all disappearing right before his eyes. By December of 2008, Elon Musk was broke, completely, utterly broke. He had to borrow money from friends just to pay his bills. This is where our story reaches its lowest point. Elon Musk couldn't afford an apartment anymore, so he did something desperate. He started sleeping in his office. Not in some fancy CEO suite, but on the floor, in a sleeping bag. He showered at the local YMCA gym. He lived on cheap fast food. He was working 100 hours every single week, trying to keep his dreams alive. His friends were worried sick. His family begged him to quit, to cut his losses. Even his own employees were convinced the companies were going to fail. Elon later said, "I could either spend my money on a house or keep the companies alive. I chose the companies." Imagine that moment. You've lost everything. You're sleeping on an office floor. Everyone around you thinks you're crazy. Your life's work is about to die. Most people would give up. It would be the logical thing to do. But then, December 23rd, 2008, changed everything. 2 days before Christmas, Elon Musk got a phone call. It was NASA. "Congratulations, Mr. Musk. We're awarding SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract." Elon couldn't believe it. SpaceX had successfully launched its fourth rocket just a few months earlier. NASA had been watching, and that one successful launch, that one last shot, was enough. This contract saved SpaceX from certain death, but Tesla was still dying. On Christmas Eve, just hours before the company would officially run out of money and declare bankruptcy, Elon was making desperate calls to investors. "Please," he begged, "just a few more million. Tesla is almost there." Miraculously, at the last possible moment, the investors agreed. They put in just enough to keep the company alive for a little while longer. In the span of about 24 hours, Elon Musk had saved both of his companies. He later said, "I didn't think we would make it." Both companies were within hours of death, but they survived. Barely. And what happened next shocked the entire world. From sleeping on an office floor in 2008 to becoming the richest person on Earth by 2021. That's a 13-year journey from absolute rock bottom to the very top. Tesla became the most valuable car company in the world, worth over $800 billion. SpaceX became the first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station and is now valued at over $150 billion. Elon Musk's personal net worth peaked at an incredible $340 billion. The man who couldn't afford rent became richer than Jeff Bezos, richer than Bill Gates. But here's the most important part of this story. Elon didn't succeed because he got lucky. He succeeded because he refused to quit when anyone else would have given up. He risked everything. He lost everything, and he fought his way back from the brink. In his own words, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. So, what can we learn from Elon Musk's darkest moments? First, success requires sacrifice. Elon gave up his home to save his companies. What are you willing to sacrifice for your dreams? Second, believe in yourself when nobody else does. Everyone said electric cars and private rockets were impossible. Elon's vision proved them all wrong. Third, your darkest moment often comes right before your breakthrough. December 2008 was Elon's worst month, but December 23rd became his turning point. Never quit when things get hard. Fourth, you have to be all in. Elon didn't keep a backup plan or save money for himself. He risked everything because that's how badly he wanted to succeed. And fifth, failure is not the end. 3 rockets exploded. Tesla almost died. But Elon kept trying. The 4th rocket succeeded. And that's all it took. Remember this. In 2008, Elon Musk was broke and sleeping on an office floor. Today, he's sending rockets to space, building cars that changed an entire industry, and working on solutions for humanity's biggest problems. Your situation today does not define your future. The real question is, will you give up when things get hard, or will you keep fighting, just like Elon did? The choice is yours. If this story inspired you, please give this video a like, share it with someone who needs a dose of motivation. Remember, your breakthrough might be just one day away. Never give up. Thank you for watching.